Alrighty, folks. Cody Sanchez has you excited about buying a boring business. Bo Eckstein is the concierge to small business loans. But what are the 4 questions you as a buyer want to ask, or what are the 4 common questions? Let's just get this done right now from Bo. Bo, welcome to the show. What are the common questions buyers are asking?
Okay, so this is from Business Broker. Top common questions they're asked. If this business is so good, why are they selling it? Question number 2, how much money does it make?
Oh, okay,
Question
that makes sense. Yeah.
Question 3, what's the upside if I buy it?
Okay.
Question 4, where did you get the price? Your list price.
Okay. All right. I
and
like
then
it.
the,
Well, yeah, go ahead.
and then
Sorry.
there's some secondary questions that which makes sense. What is the condition of the lease? Because that's important. Like
Yeah.
you're usually, if it's a brick and mortar, you need to know that.
Yep.
And the other big questions are there trained employees who will stay with the business?
Mm-hmm.
Does the business have a vendor concentration issue? Does the business have a customer concentration issue? Maybe they only have one customer,
Yeah.
and what if that customer goes out of business? These are questions, just
Yeah, that's
framework,
reasonable.
which are, yeah.
Sure. You know what? Let's go to the first 4 again. I want to talk about the first 4. What was number 1 again?
If this business is so good, why are they selling it?
That is hilarious. It's hilarious. There are lots of reasons people sell. Some of them good, some of them bad, some of them, whatever. That's hilarious. If it's so good, why are they selling? Running a business is hard. Sometimes you're tired. Sometimes you want to retire. That's a funny one. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think, if businesses turn over every 4 or 5 years, people want to move, people want to, retire. There's
Life changes. Yeah.
death, divorce,
Yep.
Other financial catastrophes in people's lives. And people want lifestyle change. So I understand the question, like if it's so good and they're making so much cash flow, then why would they sell it? So
Yeah,
you
I don't
often
know.
think,
Yeah, I get the question. It's just not sure that'd be the first one I'd be asking.
I mean, it's interesting for sure, just to think about like why, if this business
Yeah.
is like semi-passive and it's running and you got a general manager, then why do you really do? But I do think most of this comes down to, I think a long time ago, there were succession plans, meaning
Yes.
father had an automotive business, son became an auto technician, father retired, son took over the business. Now, with these millennials, everybody
Yeah.
they want to have a what I call a laptop lifestyle, where they can
Right.
bring their laptop and work from Bali or Thailand.
Mm,
So I think that's the difference. There's no succession.
yeah.
But
What was the number 2? Sorry.
number 2 is how much does it make?
That's reasonable, but again, as an old accountant, you got to be really careful with that. How much does it make? How much is reported to the IRS? Right? There could be some very different numbers involved in that.
Exactly. And you know that they're going to give you their P&Ls, and if you're getting SBA finance, we need tax returns, and usually the P&Ls look really good, and
The tax return, not so much.
yeah, the business broker is trying to put the best light on what they're sending to you. Just remember that. So you're always going to want to dive deep, and then when you do get the tax returns, then you're going to have to really have that conversation with the business broker or the seller and dive in about, what are one-time expenses, what's personal that when I take over this business that aren't going to be showing up, and that's where you'll see a lot of fallout in deals, because the buyer thought they could get financing, and then when they get the financials, the bank gets financials, says no, we can't do a $500,000 loan. There's not enough cash flow.
Yeah. 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 There's no debt service. What are you doing? Yeah. All right.
But a good business broker is going to do a pricing analysis. And so what I was learning from Len is what he does his pricing analysis first, and when he goes on his listing appointments, because you got to remember, like if you're an experienced business broker, they don't want to spin the wheel. Just like a listing
No.
agent isn't going
Yeah.
to overprice a home. Like there's no reason to go get 100 houses listed if they're not going to sell, right? We want to focus
Correct.
on sellers that actually want to sell and understand that there's a happy medium. So a good business broker goes in and does their valuation before they sign a listing agreement, because they're not going to spin the wheel. So you want to really dive in on that, because they know that there's got to be financing. And that's why you'll see sometimes They're SBA approved if you look on Biz Buy Sell, because they're already getting these deals pre-screened by banks to say, yes, we can do SBA, subject to a
Nice.
decent buyer.
I like it. How about number 3?
Number 3, what's the upside if I buy it? What's the value add?
Yeah, what's the value add? Tell me the ARV, man. Tell me what's going on. Just whisper sweet nothings in my ear. I mean, one of the things about clearly never done this, never bought a business, so to be clear, but when you look at kind of value add and a lot of I've talked to people since you and I've been speaking. I've talked with more people looking at businesses, and a lot of times when people are buying a business, it's from an operator who has been successful for decades, but they haven't adopted technology. They don't have a social media presence. They don't have these other things. So it's funny when people talk about the upside. I mean, if I follow what Cody Sanchez is saying, I mean, that's the magic is you buy something at yesterday's price, but you can find a way to integrate it into a bigger picture and just explode the value is what I see her doing.
Yeah, totally. I agree with you 100%. That's really that's like remodeling the house, because a good house flipper, good house flippers looking for they don't over improve the property. They know they do the lipstick and they get the highest yield. And that's the same thing with these businesses. What do we go in and bolt into this business to increase revenues? Everything is similar concepts. It's just a different world. The one thing I want to add in, Mike, is that where the opportunity in business and the business world is really, after really studying this, is everything's so fragmented, meaning there's not a lot of transparency like there is, like we don't have an MLS, right? We don't have and also the business brokers are typically signing a confidentiality agreement, right? So it's different. So they're controlling the deal. There's typically not a buy side coming in as to represent. Now that's starting to, I think, open up a little bit. But the problem is that a lot of times you can't blast this out, because that can jeopardize the business, meaning employees would leave, customers would leave. So that's why it's so fragmented, that's why the opportunity is so huge, I believe.
I like it. And I think we got one more, right? Number 4.
Yep. Where did you get that price?
I like that one. That one I like. I gotta imagine I like that one. And again, sometimes I'm sure people they pull it out of the air. The seller told me, but as you kind of highlighted earlier, if you're a good business broker, just like a good real estate agent, you're running comps. You're running kind of, there's usually some kind of ratio. Hey, laundromats sell for 6x or whatever. My guess is there's more science than art in this, but I get the question. That makes sense to me.
Yeah, there's definitely science to it. I mean, there's business appraisers, just like there is residential appraisals.
Oh, I didn't
They
know that,
come
actually.
in, yeah. And then there's
So
also
hold on. I want to ask you a question. So is it just like residential where I have to pay like $500 or maybe commercial $3,000 to get an appraisal? That's just part of the SBA process, getting an appraisal. I didn't know that.
Well, if there's typically you don't need to get a business appraisal. Only if there's CRE, then you need an actual commercial real estate.
Got it.
So, but there may need to be sometimes some business valuations, but it's important too. Like if there's somebody dies and owns a business, they're going to do this to kind of.
Oh yeah, estate. Yeah, yeah.
But typically, business brokers do kind of like a broker price opinion.
Yeah.
And then there's actual real formal valuations done. So yeah, so that's a little bit different in that sense, from that standpoint.
Very, very cool. Well, if somebody is getting excited about buying a business, they need the concierge of small business loans, which is you. Bo, how do they reach out, get some time, and get the process started?
Simply go to boeckstein.biz and click on one rental at a time and book a call. Happy to talk with you.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you.
Thank you.